Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss. Midnight Menu Plus One is a food lifestyle show on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. Brought to us tonight by Petite Pet Care. While you're at work or on vacation, you don't have to board your pet. He can stay in the comfort of his own home. For loving care when you're not there, Petite Pet Care. Find them at petitepetcare.com.
Now, each week on Midnight Menu Plus One, Margot and I invite a member of New Orleans restaurant and food community to join us for a conversation, and we invite them to bring along their own guest, a plus one. We never know who the plus one's going to be. Sometimes it's a friend, a neighbor, family member, masseuse, fellow restaurant colleague, whatever it is. But tonight we're at the tap room. NOLA Brewing's tap room is NOLA Brewing's on-site watering hole located in the Irish Channel. The tap room serves NOLA's regular lineup of craft beers as well as 8 or more specialty brews that you can't get anywhere else. Open weekdays from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. and weekends from 11 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. Now, our special guest tonight we'll be speaking to in just a moment on Midnight Menu Plus One is the incomparable Luke of Zotz. And I cannot wait to talk with him and also his mystery guest. But before we do that, Margot, wanted to find out about your culinary adventures. I know you were out of town in Miami. Did you have some good food experiences there?
Yeah, well, I had some interesting food experiences. We went to Joe's Stone Crab, which is like the old original. The original
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an old-time place, and people wait for hours to eat the stone crabs, and it was great. It was really nice.
Awesome.
And I had Japanese food, and we went. It was this place on Lincoln Road, and the owner is the son of Benihana.
Wow.
The guy who started Benihana's restaurant.
Benihana's got to be dead, right? He's like Mr. Miyagi. He's like 175 or something now, right? And he's got to be gone.
Yeah, I think he is. There were pictures
How old was his son?
Well, there were pictures of his son. I did not meet him.
Oh, okay.
But there were pictures of him with Muhammad Ali when he was a kid, so I don't know.
I know you like to go incognito when you travel, and people find out you're a food celebrity at these rrestaurants. They all want to get their picture with you and put it up on the wall.
Yeah, next to Muhammad Ali.
Exactly. Uh-huh. I'd much rather hang out with you, Muhammad Ali.
Are you projecting?
Okay, so wait. Now, back in town, though, you went to...
Yeah, I want to tell you, I went to Trenas.
Yes.
After we had...
Jean-Paul
on the show.
Is it Jean-Paul? Jean-Pierre.
Jean-Pierre.
I met No, but the guy who fixed my car today was Jean-Paul. That's where I got Jean-Paul in the mind. Jean-Pierre, right?
He was talking about the gumbo, and I am so picky about gumbos. I never, I don't eat gumbo in restaurants because I grew up here, and I'm not snobby, but to me, I'd rather eat it at home or in someone's home than
the way I am with my
restaurant.
red sauce Italian. I'm picky about that. Yeah, so you are with your gumbo. That's kind of a curse in this town because there's lots of great gumbo for the rest of us. But you grew up with a very particular style that you want. If you don't get it,
I'm just picky. It just doesn't. Why go out and eat something that I would eat with my family? I want to have an experience.
So then, what caused you to get it there then?
Well,
he forced it on you.
He impressed me. No, I really enjoyed having them on the show. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna try the gumbo.
All right, now it's just between you and me, no one else. But tell me, was it really what he had? The way they described it, was dark, and it was very different.
It was not a thick roux,
right? Thin
which
roux,
I liked.
but dark.
Thin roux, dark. The flavors were absolutely layered and complex. It wasn't just like
That's exactly
one
what
note.
They were told us, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a, overpowering roux, and it wasn't crowded with seafood. It was easy to eat.
All right, accessible.
It was the bite size. Like the stuff was all chopped up, so it was really easy to eat. And I had it without potato salad. I tasted it without the potato salad in it. And then they brought me potato salad to put in it, which I love. I don't know if you've ever had gumbo with potato salad.
I have. Yeah, that's great.
So they are absolutely... I would go back just for the gumbo.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Wow. Okay. Well, a lot of folks will be here for Mardi Gras, and it's the perfect spot, like right next to every parade. Basically, It's going to be all the Uptown route parades or whatever. Are going to go right to the Lee Circle where this is, and this would be a great opportunity for people to give it a shot.
You get to go in and eat great food and fuel up so you can drink all day, and then you have access to a bathroom if you get a cup of gumbo. I mean, I'm speaking for them, but I would assume they let you use the bathroom if you eat a cup of gumbo.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, listen, we could talk all day, but I do not want to take 1 second more away from the world's most interesting man we have with us tonight. Now, you're laughing. I'm not. Have I said that often though? Let me say this, Margot. We've had over 100 episodes so far, right?
Uh-huh.
We've never had a barista on the show. We did have one coffee shop owner. I remember Greg Hill, of course, from Luna, who's a wonderful coffee shop owner. We've never had a barista. And of course, I do all my business all day long. This is what I do for a living. All my meetings are all in coffee shops. I'll go to 4 or 5 coffee shops in a day sometimes. So I've been to every coffee shop in the planet. I know all the baristas everywhere. And of all those people, the first barista I've ever invited on the show is Luke, because he's just that interesting. New Orleans has the most to me, the coffee shop experience. The coffee is important, but to me the most important thing is the personalities, And New Orleans has the greatest personalities in the world in terms of baristas. And of all those people, if there was a king, if we were going to declare a crew of barista, it would be Luke. This is the guy.
All right. Well, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm laughing because his reaction to your intro is quite funny.
What?
But so it makes me want to some cross-eyed look.
So you don't own Zotz? You don't own any piece of Zotz?
No, but I actually did issue
a
security for it the other day without telling the owner. So if you want to buy stock in it, I mean, I've got some out of off license securities, 8,201 shares of it actually.
Really?
That's the address.
So you're going to be like the guy from the Shake Shack, the billionaire. The Shake Shack went public. You're bringing Zotz public,
right? Yeah. Well, he's not. If we were to buy out Zotz, as a community, the New Orleans community, I'm sure he'd be pretty angry. But I mean, I think it's possible.
Besides it being fraud, it's possible.
Right. Besides it being fraud. But anyway, yeah, I've been working at Zotz since actually right after Katrina. I got a job there, and so I've been working there a decade now, basically.
What? You look like you're 12. How is that possible?
Well, I eat a lot of honey, so they hired me kind of in this weird transition period where the previous owners who started on Royal Street. The previous owners on Royal Street, Mack and Chesley, had gotten together with John Burr, rest in peace, and Anne Montleon Burr, and they had decided to put it in this uptown location, in franchise. But they sent John Burr, the owner of the building, to Amsterdam to model the building after an Amsterdam cave cafe. I think the coffee shops in Amsterdam are a little different for some reason. I didn't exactly get clear on what was different about them, but they had to send him there specifically to get the vibe and the atmosphere. The cave, yeah.
Because Zotz got a cave thing going inside.
Right,
yeah,
so they plastered the walls to kind of make it look like a rock feel, and then they stained it dark, and they had like 3 or 4 different managers of the previous one come in and help do the interior design. So, and then over the years, it's just gathered more and more skeletons. It's kind of really dark and macabre, and then it got sold because Mack and Chesley had a family emergency where cancer struck them, and they had to focus on their health, and so they sold the business to Mike and Suzanne, who are old school New Orleans Goths.
Yeah.
Goths?
Totally Goths.
Yeah.
White face, black. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, what are their names? Mike and Suzanne.
Mike and Suzanne Bartlett. Yeah.
Okay.
And Suzanne grew up going to Ursulines. She's
oldest girls' school in America.
Right, and she was a scholarship case, so she's not from wealth, but still worked her way up and decided, she loved Zotz so much on the Royal Street location, she had to, and so they took it over, and under the condition that John Burr was very specific that Zotz could not become a goth cafe.
Huh.
So
Well, what keeps it from becoming a goth
Well,
cafe?
and what does a goth cafe mean?
Well, they was just afraid, there would just be nothing but 9-inch nails and Marilyn Manson on the. What do goths listen to anyway?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm doing them a disservice by not saying exactly what type of music they listen to,
But they kept their style personally, but they didn't let it overtake the theme of the
right. And then
environment.
there was all kinds of shakeups in the management, and there was crossfire drama, and everybody was, you run a cafe for that long, you're going to have some interesting.
So you've been there through several administrations, regimes,
right? And my strategy is just put my finger over my mouth and just don't say anything, because silence is golden when it comes to workplace drama. That's what I found.
Well, it obviously has worked. You've been there 10 years, huh?
Right.
There's not a lot of people that have been in the same coffee shop in New Orleans for 10 years. That's pretty remarkable, right?
Right.
Okay, so why were you drawn to Zotz? What were you doing before you were a barista?
Well, let's see. I went to school at Tulane for a year. That was in 2004, studying architecture. And let's see. And in 2005, we came back to the school, and they shut it down and said, "We gotta evacuate. Get out of here. There's a Class 5 hurricane coming into town." So we were like, "What? Let's just go check this out." So we went to Algiers, because they weren't evacuating Algiers, and we just kind of hung out there.
Well, you rode through the storm?
Yeah, in
What?
Algiers. Yeah.
As a student, you went to Algiers and rode out the storm?
Well, I was hanging out with the acid heads, so they weren't really thinking about their personal security. They were more thinking about, like, what is this we're gonna go be the William Burroughs of the 2004. Well, we didn't even know it was gonna be a bad hurricane.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't really.
Yeah, William S. Burroughs' house is in Algiers.
Yeah, so we were gonna go like make a pilgrimage to William Burroughs' house, like. Anyway,
Drop acid and hang out during the. Okay.
Exactly. And that didn't work out so well. I mean, we ended up staying with my friend's uncle over there, which is fine. And we lost power, and we didn't really know what was going on until he got some batteries for his radio, a couple days after the storm had actually passed.
Holy shit, wait a second. So the levees broke, and you're in a place in the city that's not flooded, one of the few places, so you don't know that 80% of the city's underwater.
No,
because
we figured it
nobody
out. Yeah,
no, but not for a couple days, though.
Right,
Because
right.
you didn't have any batteries in the radio. You didn't talk to any neighbors? There were no one else around?
we found out. I mean, it was
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but it was, and then we went over to this really cool guy, Malik Rahim. We went over to his house because he was actually starting a relief effort over there, and we decided, as young, idealistic, acid-taking college students, that we should go help out with the relief effort. So we went over to Malik's house, and he had really assembled a crack team of anarchists, communists, Marxists, and they were doing this campaign, Solidarity, Not Charity. And there was this guy, Scott Crow, and he was from Austin, and he was there. And
what does that look like? Solidarity, not charity.
Well, it was a lot of tents in his backyard, a lot of...
So you started a commune.
Right, but they were bringing doctors in from Canada, and they were bringing in doctors from Austin, and they started the Common Ground Clinic in Algiers.
Cool.
And then we were also doing just basic, like... there was some crypto anarchists that had set up cypherpunks. This movement of computer hackers, and they came in and they set up all these Pringles can antennas to the Algiers library so they could get Wi-Fi, because nobody had power, nobody had internet, but everybody needed the FEMA money, right? You had to fill out some form, like your social security number, like rent slips, I don't know, blah blah blah. And so so they had to...
Pringles, like potato chip cans, did it work?
Well, yeah, it's these cypherpunks, they're incredible. There were a couple of them from the University of Winnipeg, and they had studied under this guy, Marshall McLuhan. And they had studied under McLuhan, but they got the internet working, and we were telling everybody, we're going door to door, like, come in, fill out your FEMA forms, come over to Malik's house. And then the Burning Man people started showing up because Hurricane Katrina and Burning Man were going on at the same time. And then all the people out in the Utah desert were like, "Oh yeah, we're making ourselves a temporary autonomous community where we can flout the law and create our own perfect utopia." And then they were like, "Wait, but there's a real world out there." And so like they all got in their Burning Man vehicles with the dust all over the windshield, and they drove to New Orleans. Unfortunately, all they had was cases of beer and like hula hoops and a bunch of acid. But
more acid, but they resupplied the acid.
I was going to ask you, what did y'all do?
Well, no, we weren't doing acid during the hurricane.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the previous semester. I don't know. That was just the whole freshman year. But
okay.
Anyhow,
let's slow down the Burning Man story. Okay, wait. So the Burning Man show up.
So the Burning Man crowd shows up, and they are gung ho to do relief work, but they just like many people don't exactly know what it is that we need, So, yeah, they just brought a bunch of beer, which was really not what the whole situation needed because
we needed more of everything at that point, though.
Right.
Yeah.
But we needed like dog food and diapers and cases of water and that. But so and then Malik, he's a Muslim, so he doesn't drink, and so it was tough for him to tolerate that. And then Hurricane Rita came right after that.
He's okay with acid. He just doesn't drink.
No, we weren't dropping acid at the the relief agency or anything. It was just that kind of crowd,
okay.
The heads, and a lot of anarchists, like a lot of like train riders, they were all showing up. It was like flocks of them, because they were like, "Oh yeah, we're
in Algiers."
Yeah,
would not have thought. I think Algiers from Katrina. I think of what happened in that old man bar. What's it called? The Dried. Should I say it? I probably shouldn't say it. They don't like to hear about it. It's famous. Wasn't the dry dock inn? That was the one. It was the place. Am I saying it wrong? I might be wrong about this. That was the place where a bunch of guys got drunk and they were on camera because they had nothing to do. A bunch of like middle-aged white men got drunk and they started making claims that weren't true, but basically that they were defending the point from another race or whatever, and they, with guns. You remember this one?
Yeah, there was some white militias. Yeah. They were coming through, and they were in the trucks, and we were a mixed race kind of crowd, and but they were. I mean, the white militias were also very kind and very helpful, but yeah, very scary. It's
okay, I don't want to.
Anyway.
Let's move on a little bit because we want to hear more about your life, and So
did you go back to school?
Yeah, so I went back to school and then got the psychologist to write me a what's it called? You do not have to pay for this semester because you're crazy note. What are they?
Wow, I want one of those.
Yeah, all you had to do was go in there and tell them, list the drugs that you have done. They were like, "Yeah, you're crazy. Get out of here. Go take a semester off." And I mean, I think that actually was the case for a lot of students that
were traumatized.
Even the ones that were, because they had survivor's guilt. It's like, you're gonna like come back to the city and all of a sudden you're gonna be studying calculus while there's people like your professor's like house in Gentilly is like underwater. It's like, no, we're not gonna study calculus. We're gonna do it what everybody in America does and self-medicate.
So you took a semester off.
Yeah, and then at that point, I just was started working at Zotz on the graveyard shift, which was not helping my mental health because I was like going from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m.
They were open from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m.?
Yeah, that was back when Zotz was 24 hours, and that's what they were famous for.
On Oak Street?
On Oak Street, yeah.
Awesome.
So the strippers would come in, and the firefighters, paramedics, and all the night owls, and they would come and get their coffee.
So you were drinking coffee and working all night.
And then staying up all day and doing architecture or whatever.
You did?
Yeah.
You stuck with architecture?
Yeah, for at least half a semester, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you stopped architecture, you stopped going to Tulane?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
yeah, do you regret that?
No, because I kind of always was, like more along the lines of, well, I'm just going to build houses and make art and just do it all without the license, because architects don't actually build buildings. They just
Yeah, my husband's an architect.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be
Construction.
really passionate.
Right.
Because it's not as idealistic or I mean, it's not as exciting, I think, as what people think. And I mean, Tulane seems like a lot of I don't know. I don't want to get into it. We don't need to get into it. But so did you actually start working with your hands and making art and building things?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of painting, a lot of illustration, and actually a lot of landscape design. I ended up, through my connection at Zotz, meeting this really incredible woman, Charlene Quinlan, and she actually had a landscaping business, and she's one of these kind of old school New Orleans gardeners who does the natural plantings, the native plants, the butterfly plants, the tropicals, so she was doing tropical butterfly gardening, and that was pretty cool. And she was a child of the 60s. She was at Woodstock, so we got together real well. Yeah.
Huh. So you're doing that during the day and then working at Zotz at night?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And she was taking me, meeting all her clients, and these were like the New Orleans, art scene and different, Britannia Street and St. Charles Avenue kind of clients, where she was doing these beautiful tropical gardens, and we were, hobnobbing and meeting all kinds of nice people, and it was great.
You still doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. Wow. So you have two jobs.
Do drawings or do you actually do plantings?
Plantings, yeah.
Plantings. Okay.
Design, installation, maintenance, the whole rigmarole.
You ever do the
Nice.
Benson's house? It's just random.
Yeah, no, that's I'm really excited about this Benson story that's going on right now.
What do you think about it?
Oh, I love it. I love drama in the halls of oligarchy.
Dramas in the halls of our oligarchy. Okay, what? Tell us your thoughts.
Well, the lady's like his third wife or something. What's her name? I don't want to call her Bimbo Benson. Oh,
Gail.
Right.
Gail Bimbo Benson.
Gail Bimbo Benson. But yeah, so she's the third wife, and she's what is she doing?
They've been married for like 3 or 4 years now. This is going to last for sure.
Yeah. So after the third year, you write the kids out of the will, and you take over all the assets, including the New Orleans Saints and the Superdome. I mean, I think it's a bold move, and I wish her all the luck in the world. Honestly.
Oh, but they have another 30, 40 years together. He's only, 80, 89 now or something?
So do you have any drama from your pre-Zotz? Any what?
Yeah, what
family
got
drama? Like
what got you to Zotz? How do you go from Alabama to Zotz?
Oh, you're from Alabama?
Yeah,
from Alabama, I believe.
I come from Alabama, where the banjo on my knee. I'm going
What
to
part?
Louisiana for my true love for to see.
Did you come for true love?
True love, yeah. I followed my true love, the religion of voodoo. No, I'm kidding about that, but
What part of
I'm
Alabama?
from my parents. They live outside of Montgomery, Alabama. They live in Prattville.
I've heard of Prattville, yeah.
Yeah. It's featured in the Gabriel Garcia Marquez novel, 100 Years of Solitude.
Oh.
It's where the gringo colonialist had come from that enslaves the whole family and murders the three kids.
I'm sure Prattville appreciates
they're
that.
proud, yeah. Also, it's home of this song, or the singer of Mustang Sally, better slow that Mustang down. Yeah.
Is he still there?
That
No,
was
he's
the
passed
50s,
away.
right?
Yeah.
In the
No,
guys-
it's 60s.
It's okay.
Was that he said it?
Yeah.
All right. So, were your parents were they hippies? Like, what? How'd you get this way?
No, I'm not exactly sure. That's a good question. Well, my mom's coming around. Yeah, she recently. I don't think this is necessarily all for hippies, but she finally quit her job and slinging pharmaceuticals for big pharma, and she took a permaculture class, and so she's studying the design science of permaculture.
Now you're all into permaculture. Tell our listeners about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's basically like landscape architecture, but with an ethic. So, or I mean, actually, more than just landscape design, just design in general. The ethic is care of the planet, care of people, and then you try to return the surplus of your previous two endeavors to the previous two aims. So, for example, if I were to have a coffee shop, I might, for example, collect the compost and return that surplus to the garden. So that's returning the surplus to the earth. And then I would treat my employees really well and pay them a living wage, and maybe even give them paternity leave when they for example, to have a baby. So you're returning the surplus of your profits back to your employees, which in turn can, build your the whole system. And so it's a whole design science based on the principles. That ethic, and then there's a set of 12 principles, which I could go all into it all day, but I won't take up your time.
That comes, the permaculture in landscaping is like creating an environment that is, everything is organized so that you don't have to add anything, right? Like the plants die back and or give back to the earth, and then something else is planted right next to it, and so it's kind of self-sustaining, right?
Right. So instead of buying your fertilizer and trucking it in from Lowe's, what you can do is you can plant nitrogen-fixing leguminous shrubs. So for example, you were to grow the species Acacius, which is a very popular plant in New Orleans, mimosa tree, and it's that's the
little pink things on it.
Yeah. There's a symbiotic root rhizome bacteria that fixes atmospheric nitrogen. So it'll actually, bring down the nitrogen from the sky and put it in your garden, so you don't have to buy a lot of fertilizer. And yeah, you can lots of little tricks like that.
So what about so is there anybody, have you worked on any gardens that are doing permaculture? Because it's pretty it's exciting, and it's not a new concept. Wasn't it in Australia or something?
Right, yeah. The founder is Australian, two founders, David Holmgren and Bill Mollison, and they kind of were coming out of the 60s and realizing that they needed more than just idealism to do earth repair work. They were going to need actually a design science that they could bring to people and have people implement in a decentralized fashion. So part of the ethic is you go as a teacher, after you've taken your class, you go and you and then teach, and you return the surplus of your intellectual capital and your intellectual energy, and you return that back to the permaculture community by teaching classes and doing that kind of thing.
So you're doing that here? Is anybody really doing permaculture gardening?
So in New Orleans, it's really interesting because it seems like a lot of people are doing it, but they're not calling it permaculture. It's not sort of out there as a buzzword in New Orleans. Now, other cities like, for example, Austin, or even Athens, Georgia, right. Or Asheville, North Carolina. Now, it's in the public zeitgeist, and the civic leaders are using it, and so they're actually planning their cities based on the principles of permaculture. But in New Orleans, we've got a lot of work to do, because this money city is built on oil. I mean, this oil city is built on money. I mean, well, anyway. And the permaculture actually is really antagonistic towards petrol oligarchy, which is what New Orleans is. It's a petrol oligarchy. We're the capital.
The capital of petrol oligarchy, more than Houston?
Well, you got to have sister cities. But this is where nobody's going to go to Houston to party. I mean, this is where petrol oligarchy goes to party. That's why we're seeing, restaurant boom, yeah, and Exxon's paying the triple dividend. But, Exxon's profits are slipping, but they're still paying this, more dividend than they did last year. Something's fishy's going on. They're borrowing money.
What's fishy?
Oh, anyway.
Tell us what's
fishy.
Do
you get to talk about this stuff in Zotz? Do you?
Oh, he does it all day long.
Oh, yeah.
The fun part about listening to Luke, though, is he's a kind conversationalist in that he knows when to shut up, but he tries to introduce these topics to some people that I don't think they can read. You know what I mean? A few of them, I won't say the guy's name, but there's one guy that comes in there all the time, and he just, he's a sweet, simple dude. And Luke is like, so let's talk about permaculture today. What do you think about anarchy? And he's just like, I don't know. I just want a coffee, man. Like, and Luke's like, all right, that's cool. And
it's beautiful. It's like it's a very open environment. I feel like the pace of the workflow at Zotz is so slow that I'm able to sort of luxuriate with my customer interactions, and that's been really, really nice in my 10 years. But this year, this is the first year we've started accepting credit cards.
Oh, is that the end? Is that beginning of end for Zotz?
Well, it's been getting really crazy. It's like volume has increased by a factor of 2, and so now I can't really hold a conversation with anybody for more than 30 seconds before the next person's tapping the foot and saying, where's my latte, and all this, which is fine. We're hustling. We're making serious dough, but I almost think that like a coffee shop can gain more than just a financial energy. It can actually gain a cultural energy and an intellectual energy.
Yes.
I mean, it's a commonly understood historical precept that coffee shops are where the intelligentsia go to plan the rev. That's why they are shutting coffee shops down. In Islam. Where was it in the Middle Ages? They would they made coffee illegal.
Huh. He's reading our monitor. Don't look at that.
Who's tweeting the rev? Okay.
These are messages coming from the White House right now. Like,
when is the revolution coming?
Yeah. When
is it coming? Whoa, now it's speaking to us. How'd that happen? That's never happened before.
I don't know what's going on.
He's provoked that. So, okay, while we're playing the revolution, I wanted to ask you an interesting question, Luke, because now that I got you as a captive audience, I'm curious about these things. So you mentioned paternity, leave. Did you get? You have a child, right?
Yeah, and I have one on the way as well.
Whoa, I didn't know this. Okay,
yeah.
So how'd that happen? You have a wife? You have a girlfriend? What do you have?
Yeah, let's see. I have a partner right now. We're birth partners.
Birth partners?
Yeah.
Holy crap! How does that work?
Okay, in what regard?
What do you mean?
Because
it can mean a lot of different things. Okay, birth partners. So this is a romantic attachment, or is this a
marriage of convenience?
Yeah. What is this?
You just want kids? You're asking.
I love kids. Yeah. I feel like it's my mission. Part of my mission in life is to be a parent.
Okay.
Yeah. And even though I'm a homosexual, it's like I feel like it's really important that I share my gifts, to the next generation. And if that requires, being with a woman, that's fine, That's.
So you live together as a family, or is it just?
Yeah. Because that's part of it, right?
Oh wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Well, anyway, that's
so refreshing.
Yeah. Well, they often talk about the conspiracy, the LGBT conspiracy, where the LGBT community is going to overtake the family, and they say it in hushed voices in the churches. And no offense, I know you're a man of the cloth, Ray. So, and actually, the Presbyterians are coming around because they're now admitting that gay marriage is something you can do. Can you
wait? I don't want to get off topic yet until I find out what's going on here. Wait a second. So you have a household with a child and another child, and you're the father, like physically,
right?
Okay, but you guys aren't romantically involved, really.
Well, do you know how babies are made, Ray?
Okay, all right.
Okay, yeah.
So you have been romantically,
right?
I don't want. Stop me if I'm asking questions that are inappropriate. I'm just trying to figure this out. Okay, but you're also, guys. I guess you have an open relationship because you're. Okay, got it. Okay, he nodded. That's what he did. Okay, so that's it. Well, that's interesting. You don't meet that every day.
What if you decide to marry a man?
Well, but then the institution of marriage, I think, is also, it's more of a civic and a religious institution. It's about division of property, and it's about, division of religious responsibility and maintaining the patriarchy, really, when it comes down to it. I mean, and assuring paternity.
So you're anti-marriage.
Right, I'm anti-marriage. So, and I also think that the whole gay marriage issue is a very divisive issue because there's a lot of people in Alabama who you could not talk to about gay marriage, and they want to see the president dead because he's all in support of gay marriage. Well, What if the president just said, well, I don't actually believe in the institution of marriage? I know I'm going off topic, but
Little bit. Wait a second. So I'm just trying to. I guess the labels may not work for you, but so you're a gay heterosexual communist.
Gay homosexual communist.
Okay.
Yep. It's a
gay homosexual communist married, living with the woman romantically, semi-romantically.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. That's great.
Hey, it's the 90s, Dad.
It's the 90s. Dad.
It's the 90s, Dad.
All right.
We have to.
First time Chris has ever chimed in. What's going on?
I'm saying that's a good title. It's the 90s, Dad.
It's the 90s, Dad. It's a good title. That'll be our episode title. Okay.
We're supposed to do this off the menu thing.
Well, usually we
but
have a
I
plus one too.
Yeah, but
I'm a little. Should I be worried? Should I be worried about Mickey?
Yeah. Okay. So let me explain Mickey Heenahan to you. He's my coworker at Zotz, and
oh, I know Mickey. Yes.
Yeah.
It didn't click right away.
Yeah, he's not coming in the door right now, and he's without vehicle, so he usually takes his bicycle.
And he had a radio show for a while too himself, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got gigs at the Carrollton station on Monday night. Oh, maybe that's why he's not. No, I'm just kidding.
And Monday night is.
He does the open
gigs,
mic.
he's a musician?
He does the open mic, comedy open mic.
Oh, comedian.
Yeah, he's a comedian, and
He was the second most interesting barista in New Orleans.
oh, don't tell him that. Tell him he's the first most interesting, because that's
Well-
That would be a lie.
Well, yeah. Well,
because he's not here.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the deal, Mickey?
I have a question for you about Zotz. So, I used to go in. I'm not sure who the owners were at the time, but they used to have an interesting menu for the time, and it was more before like gluten-free and stuff like that was kind of big. You know, they had like some vegetarian stuff, some vegan stuff, and do y'all still have any food? And is there anything special about the food they have?
Well, what we used to do, and this was what I loved, was we would walk ourselves down to Lebanons Cafe at the corner of Carrollton and
Great place.
and Jeanette, and we would go and we would get hummus, baba ganoush, dolmas, and pita bread, and we would just sell. We would
And a markup.
add 20%, and sell the Middle Eastern food, and it's gluten free.
Well, they're paying for atmosphere.
Right, and it's
Lebanon has a wonderful atmosphere, but Zotz is a little
and
bit
their
different.
espresso machine was broken. So, I actually worked there too. That's how I got the job.
Wait, you worked at Lebanon first?
Yeah.
Oh.
So and Hussein, he is the owner of Lebanons Cafe.
Hussein?
He's great. Hussein, yeah.
Everybody in the Mideast is named Hussein, though.
And he was from Iraq, but he decided that the cafe title Iraq Cafe just wouldn't fly.
With a guy owned by a guy named Hussein.
Right. And
While we're bombing him.
And then his brother owns Babylon's Cafe over on Maple, in the laundromat Middle Eastern Cafe. And it was great working for him.
Oh, wait, his brother owns Babylon?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you know what? They taste the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never made the connection. Okay.
They share stuff too. Like
And
if one runs
apparently
out of
Zotz tastes the same too.
And then we're going to find out they get their coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. No, they get it from Rue down the block.
No, we get our coffee from what formerly was known as New Orleans Coffee Roasters, which is now known as Orleans Coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Which is owned by George Tommy Oliver and Kirk Knipmeyer. And they're really incredible roasters. They treat their employees really well, and they do the fair trade organic coffee imports, and they really focus on quality.
Most coffee beans in America come through the port of New Orleans, and a lot of them are roasted here as well. And there's small roasters and very, very big roasters too.
Right.
New Orleans East is like, I think, the roasting mecca of America or something, I think, right?
Right. Yeah, coffee culture in New Orleans has according to Kirk, who's the one of the guild members of the Snob, which is the Society of the New Orleans Barista. Yeah, I'm a Snob member in bad standing. It's a very frantic organization. I haven't really caught the buzz of it recently, but The Society of New Orleans Barista has come about because New Orleans coffee culture has been so villainized by the rest of the country. You know, Portland's and Seattle, they look down on us.
They look down on everybody, though.
Austin, they do. They say, oh yeah, isn't that the place where they drink chicory coffee? Oh yeah, and the cafe au lait. Yeah, that's not real coffee. That's roots. You can't drink on roots. Roots. But I love chicory coffee. I'm gonna be honest. It's good for the liver.
So Snob is helping bring up the our standing of coffee in history. Is that
right? So
what does Snob do?
Well, Snob does barista training. They come. They have meetings every month and teach you. You know, we do cuppings where you smell the coffee and you try to decide, what is the Yirgacheffe and how does it differentiate itself from the Costa Fuego? And, you know, and they do mechanical workshops on how to break down the espresso machine like a sniper rifle.
I had no idea this is.
And,
wait, how often does this happen? Once a month, you said?
Oh, yeah.
How many people come?
So do you go to...
Yeah, sometimes. And it's also kind of like it's organized labor in a certain way. You know, if we needed to go on strike, we could. All the snob workers of the world unite.
All right, how many snobs show up for a meeting?
I want to tell you hundreds, but it's usually about 8.
Okay, so if you did go on strike, no one would notice, right? That's basically like one shift at Starbucks or something, right? Yeah. Wow.
So I see you have a tattoo on your forearm. What is that?
Oh, that's
it's
one.
It's a red square?
Yeah, that's one more than bisexual. So if you're bisexual, no wait. Oh, if you're gay, you put a triangle, and if you're bisexual, you put one more line on the. Yeah, you never knew that.
Didn't know it.
Oh yeah.
So wait, so if I see someone with a red square, it's not that they have a romantic attachment to the Kremlin, but it's that they are bisexual?
Right, yeah. And so when we get put into the concentration camps, we're going to be forced to wear red squares. What? No, because that's where the pink square came. That's where the pink
triangle came from. It came from the concentration camp?
Right, yeah, Hitler's concentration camps. He would make the Jews wear the gold star, and he'd make the homosexuals wear the pink triangle. And the gypsies, I think they had to wear, like, a jester or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm a boring heterosexual, so do I get like a red pentagram or something? Like, what do I get? They haven't made one for me yet. No. What's going on? Why are you in silence? Did I say something wrong?
No.
Well, anytime you drop the name Hitler, the conversation's going
on. Yes, to the conversation. I just had nothing was coming into
You gave me that look. You gave me that look sometimes. You give me like, oh, crap, Ray, shut up. No?
No, I would just say, Ray, shut the fuck up. I wouldn't give you a look.
Well, going back to coffee culture, let's see.
Yes.
Okay, so they teach us how to extract a good shot. They teach us how to determine whether we've made the appropriate grind of the coffee. You know, a fine river sand.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but I don't think you answered the question. Do y'all still sell someone else's food?
Oh,
or
yes.
Do you have any
so
food?
We have 3 food purveyors that we focus on, and that's
Winn-Dixie.
Roberts and Rouse's. Try to throw Bromart in there too. Well, yeah. I mean, it's when you're running a business, your main revenue stream is the drinks, right? Yeah. So the restaurants, they're making the most amount of markup on the drinks. You sell in soda, you sell 7 cents worth of syrup and carbonated water for what, $3? I don't know what do they charge for sodas these days. Well, same is true with coffee. You know, you what's a bean they are organic beans. So, but yeah, so, but we try to keep the food really fresh. We do the Breads on Oak Street. We serve their gluten-free.
Your neighbor, yeah.
And their vegan options. They have a really incredible vegan muffinato. It's the muffalato, but instead of using corned beef, or what are these? Salami. Instead of salami, they use tempeh. So it's tempeh, olive salad, and focaccia.
Wow.
So wait a minute. Y'all serve that? Zotz serves that?
Yeah, we
Or
go down the
Breads on
street
Oak?
to Breads on Oak, and
we buy it. We mark it
buy
up 20%.
We wrap it in cellophane, yeah, and they
Okay,
love it. Yeah,
great.
Charmaine's the owner of that place. She's great. And
So you carry Breads on Oak's product, breads and sandwiches.
Which, by the way, is a great. You've been to Breads on Oak. That
Yeah.
place is great. I love
Right.
it. Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
that's nice.
so at your snob meetings, who else is regulars there? Like, what other coffee shops are represented well there?
oh, there's we got some folks from Fairgrinds and Mojo's. I
Love
try to
them.
bring all the folks that I knew from Satsuma. And
How do you know the folks at Satsuma?
oh yeah, I worked over there too. I worked at the bio. I'm like the Santa Claus of coffee. I work at every coffee shop. So you go, and there's also customers that go to every coffee shop within a day. You see, you think that they're going home to do something with their lives, but they're actually just going to every single coffee shop. In the
Satsuma
city.
is my furthest geographic spot. If I walk to the original Satsuma, not the one on Maple, I go to more often now, but the original one in Bywater and back, it's literally a half marathon to my house. It's exactly a half marathon. It's 13.2 miles if I go from there to, and I do that about once a
Do you
month or
do
so.
it just for the coffee? Or you
No,
like
I mean,
the atmosphere and the
yeah, I like that place a lot,
food?
but I'll go. The food's great there. The salads are amazing, and the turkey sandwich is the best turkey sandwich in the city to me. But I'll walk like 3 miles, coffee meeting, walk another 3 miles, coffee meeting. If I can
I
time
forget-
it out correctly, I can make it
So
to
you're one of
Satsuma
those
and back in
people
one day.
that goes to other coffee shops throughout the day.
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
have all your
you
meetings.
didn't notice about me? Yeah. I do all day long. I just do coffee meetings.
He's like a
everywhere.
hummingbird, a caffeinated hummingbird. He just goes and dips his proboscis in the various coffee watering holes.
But I'm in Zotz at least every Friday morning. Probably shouldn't tell my listeners this because I know we have a lot of fans. They may start to stalk us. But anyway, so that guy listening to us now, like with a ham radio, like in Utah, whatever, is going to fly up. But anyway, because I get my hair cut near there. The only guy I can give a decent
Weekly?
pompadour in town. Well, about every 2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks?
And then
Okay,
I have
that's why
a
you look
standing meeting.
beautifully
Somebody who
coiffed.
has to get to work, and the only one that's on his way to work is Zotz before he gets to work. So that's where we meet every Friday in the morning.
Wait, what time does Zotz open up? for Ray?
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Sort of sharp.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what time do you close?
1 a.m.
7 to 1 a.m.
I remember when you guys used to be like 4 a.m. or something, or weren't
It
you?
was 24 hours, but we had
Okay.
to cut it back because the crack addicts and the homeless people, they'd come in and they'd start working the place. So they'd come back and let me clean up, and they grab the broom and they'd start cleaning, and then the other crack addict would come and start making shots of espresso. And we were just like, I was at the computer playing like Sim City or something. I'd be like, oh yeah, come on y'all, like, get it together.
So when you were doing the night shift, were you doing it by yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I've seen him kick people out too before, and give people some trouble for messing around. Yeah, you've had to a few times. That's during the day, so at night it must be a lot more. Because Oak Street is great. It's a really mixed culture right there. You got everything from white collar to blue collar to down and out folks to musicians to students to locals to you got a good mix there. And I've seen him crack the whip a few times. One guy comes in with food all the time, and like about once a week. Probably, I don't know. I've seen.
He's
him
got
many
like
times,
2
yeah.
bags of Doritos, and he's got a pizza balanced on his head, and he's like
He's like,
not
this
ordering
isn't food.
He's like, what? I'm gonna take this and put this in my backpack later. It's like, no, you're clearly going to sit and
here
use
all
our
day.
Wi-Fi and eat pizza.
I've seen him kick the same guy out like 3 times, or not even kick him out, but just like scold him for the food. And each time he acts like it's the first time it's ever happened. He's like,
What?
Maybe we could have him on as your plus
He would be
one.
an awesome
yeah,
plus one.
the crack addict. You're right. But I really love Oak Street because I feel like it's the bell ringer of what's happening in this country, which is that people are re-inhabiting America's main streets. They're going and they want to walk to where they eat, and they want to walk to where they live and where they work. So people work there, they eat there, they live there. It's open 24 hours a day. You can go get a drink at 1 a.m. You can get a coffee at midnight. You can go shopping, you know, at night. You know, it's rare that people have retail locations that are open past 6, but Oak Street, I think a lot of Oak Street shops try. And people want to
Everything's local there.
They want walkable city. Yeah, we try to work with everybody local.
Yep. You got Glue next door.
We don't do Cisco.
No Cisco.
I know a lot of coffee shops in the city. You know, they look real local, real genuine, but then the Cisco truck pulls up and back. They're getting Cisco cookie mix, Cisco coffee, Cisco straws, and you know, I'm sure, you know, they're doing their right livelihood. But you know, I like it when it's local. It's good.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. That flew by. Thank you, Luke. This was very educational and very helpful and pretty enjoyable as well. Thank you so much. Let's see. We need to thank our sponsor again, don't we? Thank you so much to NOLA Brewing again, the tap room, for being our host. This is without them we couldn't be here doing what we're doing.
And thanks tonight to Petite Pet Care for loving care when you're walking Oak Street at any hour. Check out petitepetcare.com.
Our special guest tonight at Midnight Menu Plus One was Luke, I don't even know your last name, Deadnettlez.
Deadnettlez. Deadnettlez.
Nice. All right, he's even got a jingle for it. You can find out more about Zotz by following the links on our website. We'll have that posted along with the show on itsneworleans.com. Thank you so much, and good night.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green potting mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. U.S. only.